New.
Yo, what's a kayfabe?
Bro, in wrestling,
Uh-huh.
were you like a WWE fan?
I watched a little bit of it when I was,
It's like
classic shit.
it's like the pretension. You know, like you have to pretend. Like I
Yeah.
used to when I was a kid, up to like 10, 11,
Yeah.
embarrassing age. I was like, this is all real.
Oh, yeah.
Edge jacked Rey Mysterio's kid, and like his wife or something, or I forgot.
Shoot.
Oh, not Edge. Sorry, Eddie Guerrero had
Yeah.
kidnapped Rey Mysterio's kid, but then he revealed that it was actually his kid, and I was like, wait, they're doing this
That's
all.
crazy.
And I was a kid. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
I don't get it. How could they legally do this in a
Yeah,
WWE
yeah,
ring?
yeah.
Like, it just doesn't make sense.
That's insane.
And then, like, obviously, after a couple of years, you realize it's all fake.
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
you still watch it. It's like, oh shit, bro, why'd they do this? Why'd they do that? And it's all
Yeah,
scripted. But
yeah.
you know,
Going back and
yeah,
forth.
that's the kayfabe. Like, honestly, when you're in the system, there is a bit of kayfabe. Kayfabe meaning we have to pretend like these things. We have to pretend, or I guess we do pretend. I'm not saying we have to. That there used to be the kayfabe that Obama is gonna change things, like because whoever the president is gonna bring some monumental change in one way or another, good or bad or whatever.
I bought
Drastic.
it when Obama was running. I
Yeah.
bought it.
Whether you liked it or not, like
I thought
I even thought Romney's gonna become president. Man, I don't know. That would be a drastic change. Even though it's not that drastic, Romney's probably to the left of Hillary, Hillary and Kamala Harris. To be honest, now you think about it.
Shit.
I mean,
Yeah,
you the
yeah,
Romney
right, yeah.
candidate. Now no one buys that. Like people see Biden coming down. These guys have become memes.
Yeah.
They've become like the Biden, the dance.
Yeah.
These things, these like antics were reserved for people who are backbenchers trying to make people like Howard Dean. Doing that stuff, and even though they did it by accident, the Howard Dean yell, whatever.
Yeah.
Or I think Michael Dukakis has this thing where he jumped in a tank or something. I'm not sure. I think HW has it when he goes to a grocery store and he doesn't like know something there, and it became like a big thing for HW Bush where this guy doesn't even know how to go to a grocery store.
No. Yeah.
He's so disconnected,
Yeah.
and it makes sense, bro. This guy's been in the White House for 15 years now.
Yeah.
Right, like 8 years as VP and then 4 years as president. Like, what do you expect him to like? He's not going to the grocery store picking up.
That's
potatoes.
crazy to think about. Dang. Yeah, for 12 years, a dude, you're not going to the grocery store.
Well, before that, he was a CIA chief for 4 years, so he's not going.
Yeah, that's insane.
Well, he is going to the grocery stores, very secretly, so no one knows.
Hush-hush,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's some hush hush stuff.
That's crazy.
CIA chief, but that was a public position. I'm guessing he still wasn't going to the grocery store. But the prior, that is 1976, 1974, something like that. Like after Watergate, where CIA supposedly gets this outsider, what they were trying to claim as an outsider to fix up the CIA. But in reality, I think HW has a lot of stories where people would say he was associated working with the agency from the 50s.
Okay.
And maybe recruited into this whole thing when he was spying during World War II.
He was spying during World War II.
Surveillance.
Okay.
It was not espionage, but it's more like I think he was part of.
It's like military surveillance.
I forgot what it's an operation. It was like Shutter or Operation something to do with clicking. They would fly over Japanese encampments or whatnot and take pictures.
Oh, okay.
And that was his job. And I think that's where people suspect he was initiated into the apparatus, but people have connected him to being at the grassy knoll, or in Dallas at least, the day JFK died, being part of the Watergate operation. Judicial coup. Not judicial coup. A bureaucratic coup against Nixon. And then, I guess, this is my fringe conspiracy theory, the assassination attempt on Reagan. The original one, in 1980.
Yeah. What was Bush's... What are you saying was Bush's role in that?
Well, now it sounds far-fetched, but this is less than 20 years after JFK got shot in the head.
Right.
and I consider the agency part of that operation as well. That, along with Cuban expats and Israeli operatives, in my opinion. But again, everyone has their own opinion on this.
Yeah. But what was HW doing with Reagan?
So you see, Reagan had been working with the Feds since the 50s, and then became California governor after he ratted out all those people during the McCarthy trials.
Mm-hmm.
Reagan, working with law enforcement and whatnot, I think he ran for president before too, and he lost, I guess, in the primary, and then he won in 80. At this time, we're 17 years in from something so monumental as JFK's assassination, and then subsequent assassinations. RFK Senior dies in 67, 68. Martin Luther King dies the same year. Dies. They both get shot. They both get assassinated. JFK, not dies.
RFK, MLK.
Yeah, MLK the same year.
Right.
And all of these assassinations were connected, in my opinion, to law enforcement. Right, law enforcement was instrumental. Not only instrumental, it was part of the agenda to eliminate these folks. I feel like in 1980, where Bush has put in these 40 years of work in the agency, and honestly, you can say masterminded this, as in the Bush family can trace its roots all the way to the Revolutionary War, and they're being into these, I wouldn't say clandestine circles, but the in crowd, let's say, for the sake of this.
Are they Freemasons?
I have no idea. I'll be honest, I don't have much knowledge about the Freemasons, because when I did get into the subject, I wasn't able to separate reality from conjecture. But I mean, if you know much more about,
I don't know a lot about the Freemasons, but I'm wondering, because you said that they were there since the Revolutionary War, and a lot of like a lot of times you see people like that were in secret societies, in or around secret societies, and I'm curious if what's the continuity there between Bush of the American Revolution and 3 generations down, 5 generations down, 10 generations down, Bush Senior, Bush Junior, because I think one of them, Bush Junior, was in some society called Skull and Bones. Was that him?
He started Prescott Bush. Prescott Bush would be, I guess to zoom out a little bit, the 3rd generation of Bush's post Revolutionary War, so I guess you would say around 1870 onwards, they have started their pedigree at Yale. They're one of the first ones there. By that time, they have their 2nd or their 3rd generation. I believe their 3rd generation at Yale, which is Prescott Bush, who was also the guy who led the business revolt against FDR.
Oh, okay.
A business coup almost.
Yeah.
Stuff that you would do in South America, which is like, hey man, no more bread or grain anymore.
Right.
We don't know where it went. Now people are out in the streets. Yeah. Well, I guess we gotta change these guys up. They can't even give us bread.
Yeah.
Being reductive, right?
Yeah.
He started the Skull and Bones Society by, I think, digging up Geronimo's head.
Oh shoot! Okay.
And I think and then doing some. Apparently, and again, I have a hard time separating reality from conjecture, because there's so much. Again, there's always gonna be ambiguity around these things. There's no fact sheet that you can reference to be like, oh, Skull and Bones, this is the actual,
Yeah.
But apparently they
some satanic rituals or something
they took turns, I guess. Apparently, doing some sexual stuff to the skull.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a mainstay of Skull and Bones since. But
we need Alex Jones to get to the bottom of this. He's the guy who talked about the Bohemian Grove thing, right?
Bro, I mean,
all the I'm wondering this because like, are these secret societies like vehicles for a policy continuation, or at least not a policy continuation, but a generation to generation transfer of like, hey, like this is like the big project, like next gen, like you guys need to carry this on. Does Prescott Bush, is he thinking like, all right, I'm doing XYZ to maintain like whatever in the country, you know? And my son, my grandson, whoever is going to be continuing this project. The other people in Scotland, but like this is going to continue for Freemasons. Is it something like that where it's like, hey, as like Masons of the Oregon General or this chapter, these are our goals and we're maintaining these generation by generation, and that's why it's a secret society, because it's a closed thing and it's just like, hey, you know, we're just, there's a continuity here. Or maybe for different secret societies it's different things. I just wondered that because like you have these families that have like, you know, tenured positions of being students every generation, you know, like they have a, like you're automatically in, right, the legacy shit. And these universities have ties to Intel, to weapons manufacturers, to the DoD, to the State Department. And you have this generational like thing going on there. This curation is starting very, very early.
I mean,
so it's not incidental that George W. Bush was a president of the United States.
George H.W. Bush.
Or George H.W. Bush. Right?
Or Obama, I mean, because apparently his maternal side you can trace to clandestine, to CIA directly, and then himself, where he's worked in his career prior to public office, they've been exposed as at different points being on the CIA's payroll. So you can assume that this is all a coincidence.
Yeah.
Or that there's an ignorance and you know, George W. Bush, he has no idea. He is just a coke addict who, you know, you can have a beer with, and he doesn't have any care about his legacy or the Bush name. He's just doing this because he's in a position to do it. Which is do all the bullshit and then run for president and have the wherewithal to be a president just because you...
That would be funny if that's really what happened to you know, Prescott Bush's legacy or whatever.
Yeah.
From the Revolutionary War to actually being like a dumbass in president. But I mean, again, there's an infrastructure here to set these things up.
I feel like that's a good out. That is a perfect out. Oh, I'm an idiot. I don't know shit.
Yeah.
I do it too.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I don't want to like, you know, cook sometimes or something. Like as in I know how to do it. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And you know, my wife will, or my friend, you know, Bilal would be like, "Hey, can you do this real quick?" I'm like, "I don't know how to do this shit."
Yeah, just you do it.
Yeah. I mean, you could do
take
it.
care
Like
of this shit.
it's like someone's like, "Hey, can you make a hookah for me?" I'm like, "Bro, I don't know how to do none of this, man." I'm like, "Well, where do you put the water? Where you put the water in the head? You put the flavor in the thing? I don't know."
That's crazy.
And then like, you know, like.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the perfect out for these guys as well. George H.W. Bush, hey man, you're a boring dude. What's up? You were only working with different oil companies, and you know, in Texas ever since you left Yale and the Air Force. You're a normal guy. Why are you such a normal guy? And turns out he's not a normal guy. He is a secret agent, literally.
Yeah, buddy with Osama bin Laden, like. Oh.
Yeah, like they go back. And I mean, that's a separate story altogether.
That's a whole
I never even bought. I mean, again, me speaking out loud, my conspiracy
theory. You don't
theory.
think they killed him?
No. I did Mohammed bin Laden's story where, you know, he's a Yemeni bricklayer, and then he's sitting with George H.W. Bush and Saudi royalty. My guy, these guys don't care if you're rich. If you're Yemeni, they wouldn't sit with you.
Yeah.
The Saudi royal family.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting with them, you're making business
deals. He probably
deals.
also had clandestine ties too.
I mean, that's what I'm assuming.
I mean, this goes back to our episode that we did about. Did we record that one, or did that one? Was that one of the ones that made it?
It's the clandestines, I think.
That was clandestines, right? Okay, so like, all of these Saudi come in. Do you want to be on a podcast?
We can we can have a little special guest.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be as something. It wouldn't be a special appearance like the Dems have been having, where have a bunch of performers, Queen Latifah and Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx at Lil Jon. All right.
Let me get it. I got it.
Oh, you got it. Hold on, just in case. Just in case.
Or 5 or 10 or 15.
Do you wanna? Oh. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Come through.
They were like a big group, and I'm like,
Oh, it was.
yeah.
Okay,
I'm like,
okay,
we don't have a big group.
Never mind.
I have a big group, and then they want to talk about their feelings and stuff. No,
should we have like a emotional podcast sometime, like just an episode?
Bro, that's
where
like a hangout.
You get a bunch of people and like get everybody to talk about their feelings.
Oh, that's a DSA meeting.
That's crazy.
That's a DSA meeting, bro. I've sat in those during COVID, and these guys talking about a bunch of bullshit all the time.
Oh man.
Like,
that's
hey,
crazy.
I went to the store and this guy gave me the side eye because I have like this kind of hair, and that emboldened me to dye my hair more. And I'm like,
Jesus Christ.
or something like that. I mean,
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
I forgot what we were talking about before I had to scare away the trick-or-treaters.
H.W. Bush, the bricklayer,
Yeah,
clandestines.
yeah.
Right, so like even among these between the British and the Saudi royal family, between the CIA and the Saudi royal family, this goes way back.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
Post World War II, honestly, I feel like post World War One onwards.
Yeah.
Like, you see this, the intelligence apparatus around the world, but specifically in the U.S., just because of the amount of wealth, just black money going through the system and seeping through everywhere around the globe. The globe, intelligence money circulating, and that's where I feel like these Mohammed bin Laden figures, like, oh, this guy came from nowhere, rags to riches, and in a place where they don't care if you have riches, or they don't care about nothing. They don't care about your character. They only care about like who your family name is, and that's kind of how like him sitting with H.W. Bush's dad or something. It's like, wait, how is that possible? How is it a coincidence? And sitting, like, it was hard to explain as a kid. Again, it was a kayfabe. Oh, that is the kayfabe.
Yeah.
They just happen to be chilling on vacations together.
Got you.
This guy's a CIA agent, but that guy is not. Even though he just made like $50 billion from zero somehow, this guy, he's like a boring dude, but he's chilling with this guy whose son decided to carry out the biggest terrorist attack in U.S. history
after being a U.S. funded, quote unquote, freedom fighter, anti-Soviet, whatever.
But this is all coincidence, and we really had to believe this in the mainstream for so long, because in the name of decorum they would filter us out, and that's why I think a lot of people have fallen for Trump. Like, whether you like it or not, that figure is an outsider in a way. As in, I'm not a fan. I did not vote for him.
Yeah.
It's more like, hey, the decorum that kept this whole glue together, where you weren't asking, hey, HW, why you're not that boring? You're actually like kind of crazy. You've been through 2 presidential elections. Like, these guys got shot in the head during the time you were like involved in this process.
Crazy.
But that's kind of we had to pretend like this was a thing. We had to pretend like HW, a coke addict who just has also has felonies.
George W.
It's a comeback story. He did it. He had a coke addiction. He kicked it and became president. And you're like, wait a minute, this is not adding up. This is not the I can't pronounce. I can't say. I can't talk sometimes. Like, the machine doesn't work this way.
Yeah.
And honestly, you can probably see in 10 years that we see with Trump that the machine was at play somewhere. And you're saying, well, maybe not in the first election cycle. Maybe that was a bungling job by the Dems. Maybe But the second election cycle, where he's been infiltrated by RNC mainstays, operatives, a whole new regime with him.
Straight up, all like swamp monsters.
Yeah, you're
whole
like,
thing.
you can't be like, hey, this is completely clean of the infrastructure that produced these guys, or the
Yeah.
infrastructure, or the, I guess in Bush's case, the infrastructure he produced.
Yeah.
In a way.
Well, I mean, I read something like, and I didn't read into this, but I remember reading something about the Rothschilds helping Trump get out of some like financial issues like decades ago. I don't know, but if you think about it, you're in that echelon of billionaires, bro. You're gonna be meeting, you're rubbing shoulders with those kind of people. Now you have the Adelsons funding your campaign. How much of an outsider really can you be?
Bro, I mean, once you convince yourself that maybe, honestly, let's say even like some guys that convinced themselves during this time that Kamala or Biden was the answer, when they, let's say they themselves, them in their morality, like them, they go there and you're the president now and you have to fundraise, and I wouldn't be surprised if more than half would fall into the, okay, well, I'll take money from Miriam Adelson,
Yeah.
and not get affected by what she wants me to do. I'll do it. I'll be the one.
It's not just the money; they have ties, like business.
Yeah, like they're
business with Sheldon
like chilling,
right?
I mean,
that was a big like casino. Both
people can convince people will convince themselves that they can be anti-establishment and be providing their material, their labor, to Lockheed Martin. These cognitive dissonances exist. It's just the scope, I guess, or the extent of your power. Whether you're a low-level engineer or something for like Raytheon, or you become like somehow someone like Mehdi Hassan or something, right? Even then, you're like, maybe I can work for the Daily Wire, somehow just get on, and once I get on, I'll change it from within. This was a common theme, change from within.
Right.
I think even during 2016, this was the thing, change the Dems from within.
Yeah.
Or like, I think this was the joke during that time, like,
move them left.
Yeah. It was a joke that if that really works, then go join ISIS and then you can change them from within.
That's crazy.
I think honestly, I'm excited for this season. I feel like with this election hype done, we'll get to really focus on a lot of like more theoretical things, not as much on like focus. Again, we kind of felt, I think, victim to it a bit too, where we were also looking ahead to November.
Sure, right? But that's gonna happen with a thing like this.
But I'm glad now that this time around when Trump won, the same hysteria does not exist. So the next 4 years, I feel like there's a lot of room now for me and you, people, like-minded people that we've talked to start really putting our voice out there, as opposed to before having to cling on to these different pundits, these trendsetters, so to speak, whether it was guys as like bumbling they seem like as Cenk Uygur, or something as new and like hipstery as the Vanguard. And I don't want to name drop. I'm completely against name dropping.
Just starting beef off the bat.
It's not. I mean, it's not beef or anything, right? Obviously, these guys have their own.
Beef,
like,
bro. I have beef with them. Yeah. What's up? No, I don't.
I mean, I don't know their names, and I feel like I'm like too old. Also, like these guys.
I tuned into
like
that
college.
during like COVID period. I remember I tuned into that like world. What do they call it? Bread tube, I think.
They became big during Force the Vote, and then I think during Chomsky. They invited Chomsky onto their.
Oh, Vanguard specifically. Yeah.
They invited Chomsky on during the election, I think, and then Chomsky was like, vote for Biden. And then.
And did they argued with him on that?
I don't know what they did, but I didn't watch them like that. I don't find them very engaging. But the Force the Vote discussions, it was kind of cool.
That was the era when I was like watching. Like,
but they've completely gone the paid operative route.
Okay.
Like, it's kind of insane. Like, they've completely gone that route. Where I mean, I don't know that for sure. I didn't see their taxes, but the past 6 months, if you have this completely like pre-recorded message playing of like, you guys don't know, we know. Like Gaza will fix itself if we come back in power or something. Like, it's like we. What do you mean
Jesus
we?
Christ.
You're part of this now, and
Mm.
this applies throughout. Um, that being said, I feel like the best thing from this election is those people are the losers. Along with Kamala Harris, this apparatus has lost.
Had to happen.
This quote unquote independent media. Hey, I am Majority Report. These are my. Again, I'm a fan of these folks to an extent. As in, like, fan being like, growing up was a fan. I don't know how much I would consider myself a fan of their content now or the past 10 years of adulthood. But a lot of the political foundation was set by guys like listening to Sam Cedar, knowing what how the machine works.
Mm.
That's just not. I feel like they have lost out during this time,
Yeah.
and I feel like guys like Newsom opened a lane that they didn't have before. They would have to wait till 2032. Now, with Kamala losing 2028, they have 4 years. 4 years to kind of get ready, make a good run post-Trump now. You don't have to contend with Trump again.
Well, so you would be contending with who? J.D. Vance? See, because Trump is... Yeah, I don't know.
Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
And then this is why you see, and again, these are the operatives that work. See a guy like Rubio in the cabinet.
So is he bringing back the Orthodox Republican Party with his alt-right thing, and now
the people around him...
He broke the Republican Party, and now he's gluing it back together with him in the dominant position.
But
That's
the
crazy.
Operatives that have been kind of managing him this time around,
Yeah.
they're getting ready, like, okay, post-Trump, okay, Vance seems like a 50-50 guy, like, isn't like not that charismatic. Marco Rubio, okay, like anytime there's like a minority thing or something, well, we have this guy. He's still young, he can good foil to Newsom or Pete Buttigieg. Marco Rubio, you can't play that card like, hey, I'm a outsider when this guy is like, I think Cuban descent or whatever.
His parents are like Cuban diaspora, like.
Yeah. So I think that's what their vision is, and I think it's a good one. As in for their perspective, it's a good one. For the Dems, I feel like the picture is more bleak, both from their marketing side, which is like their apparatus, their entire MSNBC, Maddow, even like the people they had on, even the people they had on YouTube, the BreadTube people, anyone. Again, TYT, Majority Report, Vanguard, Kyle Kolinski, the biggest culprit of all of this. The past 4 years, this dude has changed, and I'm not talking only about the hair color at all.
That was one of the guys I was watching during that COVID period, and then I realized he was a cuck because like there was this one video he made a video on the Iranian elections, and I was like, yeah, this guy. But here's the thing that also, and this is why I stopped watching all of that shit, was because I realized that Western leftists, and this is something we should do we should delve into this at some point. Western leftists know nothing. They have no understanding of the outside world. They have no understanding of the social dynamics of the outside world. Even if they are trying to be non-racist, anti-racist, anti-imperialist, and whatever, they're still looking at things from a fundamentally Western liberal point of view. It comes from a certain epistemology. It comes from it's its own thing, and a lot of times they just can't seem to get their heads out of their asses, for lack of a better way to put it. And that's been a frustration of mine, right? Is that like people will get into discussions about domestic policy this, domestic policy that. But the thing that always gets obfuscated, even with foreign policy and with these elections, is that there's broadly one foreign policy regime. And that's winning no matter who wins any election. And so with regards to foreign policy, ultimately, that's what my interest has always been in, I guess, as somebody who has this identity of having a background, South Asian background, Muslim background, growing up in an area with a lot of white folks, and then just in America in general, right? And the contradictions that come with that. So that for me has been like the real frustrating thing is like, can we, like, we're not at a point where people are awake enough to see beyond what's 5 feet in front of them. And for things that people do know about, there's this lack of object permanence and this historical amnesia. And that kicks our ass every single time because it's just like the next 4 years, the next like whatever thing. And that's one of the things where I think like
it's gonna exist when there's no
yeah.
As in, like, even people who agreed with us, we were like, okay, you agree with us, it's cool, but when we get behind the mic, oh, I want you to extrapolate, expand on this a little bit.
Yeah.
And you realize quickly, wait, like, just that, even if you come to the right conclusion, that lens alone, just having that Western liberal, like that leftist lens, that is an impediment to your growth. Forget leading anything or forget me part of any, like, you know, abstract movement. Your growth.
That's a cap. That's a ceiling. That's a ceiling you're setting that's way too low.
Yeah, tell me, as in, like, if for example, if you're like, hey, I am against this because it's against the Islamic perspective. Okay, it's like, okay, what is the Islamic perspective? You're like, okay, this is the Islamic perspective. Okay, why? Now tell me what. And like, do you have a reasoning? Like, we don't. You can either say I don't know. We don't know the reasoning. We don't know.
Right.
Or I don't know. And if it's I don't know, then bro, you should not hold this position.
Well, I think that's where there's an issue on the Islamic end as well, because as Muslims, a lot of times Muslims will study their own tradition, but not the tradition of the place that they're in. So they can't reconcile two different epistemologies, right? Or two different things coming from two different normative ways of thinking, right? The conversations miss the mark, right? And that's an issue where it's, you know, people being in their own kind of echo chamber, and that then seeps into like ideology, and then there's this, I don't know, that's where people, it's like you lean into like a dogmatism, and it just, that's what you have, and that's what's hitting that's the wall that anything hits once it gets to that point of I don't know, we don't know. You know, then it's just dogma. It's the
same
wall
thing on the Dem side, like, you know,
same
during this time. I mean, the Republican side, it's easy. I think, like, talking to that is easy because someone's just like, bro, I want to save my money. Okay, I don't care about who dies. I just want, like, I want less taxes. And you're like, okay, this guy doesn't know or he doesn't care. I don't even care to talk to him. Fuck it, bro. As in, like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But like the Dem side during this time has been even more cringe because it's like a repeat button of like just la 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 la. I can't hear, like, you know, like, I just can't see, do nothing. Like, no reasoning is gonna fall in. I know I have to do this to save you and me and everyone. And it's like, bro, just say you're selfish like the other dude. What's with this white knight stuff? What's with this whole, like, oh, we have to do this for everyone? You're not doing nothing except for yourself. It's only harm reduction for you. Their harm is reduced for you. The incremental change for you. Mobility for, you know, you and your kids maybe. But that was very, you know, I really wanted to dive into this, but I guess maybe we won't have time today.
For sure.
Onto like the perspective of every one of these voters who, you know, like the Latino voters went to Trump, and Muslim voters went green, which is honestly amazing and very proud of that, to be honest. Even though I'm not saying I voted green. You know, it offends a lot of people these days, depending if you voted green or you didn't vote green. As in, even if you agree with them, like, you're like, hey, I wanted to vote green, but I didn't for X, Y, Z. Like, oh, but you could have got us through the 5%, which is true theoretically, but she was 4.5% short of 5%. Yeah. So, you know, it's kind of neither here or there.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, as in, like, for me, I was like, you know, 5% is nice, but people don't realize 5% is a lot. Like, you need 6 million people, 7 million voters to vote for you. That's a big number. And
what's the Muslim population of America?
Almost 4.
Yeah.
She got close to 50% of that, a little bit more than that, which is again very impressive. But I was under no illusion that she would get to 7 million. Not only because if she reached that number, but then they would just rig it down to 6 anyways.
Yeah.
Iowa caucus that.
Yeah,
Bernie Iowa caucus
right,
oh, she lost, and then a year later, oh, but she actually won, but we miscounted by accident.
Yeah.
So but every one of these perspectives, I think next time we sit down, kind of touch up on like, bro, Latino voters, brown voters, American, Indian. No, this is the Big Tent that the Dems created, and at the end, no one's in it.
No one's in it.
Latinos not in it. I'm not in it. People supporting Gaza, right wing Indians, Pakistanis, Muslims not in it. Who's in it? Latinos are not in it. Then who's in it? They're like, okay,
well, I think there's a chunk of all of these demographics that are in it, and that's the stability, harm reduction, incremental change.
Dude, they got less percentage of the vote this time than Trump for Muslims.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think they have a solid, monopoly on the black vote, so to speak. But that's sad, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
But even there, you see variance. But I mean, we'll see. Going into season 2, like, there's a lot we can talk about. There's a lot to talk about. Again, like a lot of stuff has been trial and error. A lot of this has been just a process, and this is like a preemptive like episode intro to season 2, right? So you'll see more trial and error, and that's okay. We're just
it's been fun
living it out in real time.
About to be 4 years and finally got on camera. I mean, let's just hope that this time we've done this with the recording,
actually
not
working.
with the video. Yeah, we've done this before and it didn't work. All right, thanks, brother. It was
good shit. What was that runtime?